I'm not saying to never criticize your solo queue teammates, because obviously they're not perfect. However, it should be the last resort in assessing what went wrong in your game, not the first. Here's an example from one of the games that I played on my Twitch stream today. I was playing Zac against Kindred. During the game, I got very frustrated with my bot lane, particularly the Misfortune, because they were slow pushing while the enemy Janna was in the topside river along with Kindred. The enemy Twitch had not returned to lane yet, so I didn't see a reason for the Misfortune not to be shoving the wave and then looking for either a recall, roam, whatever she wants to do. I don't really care as long as the wave's under turret and Twitch is missing some of the CS. What ends up happening is after the slow push, they put this massive wave under the turret and Twitch gets to collect all of it for free. Wasn't threatened at all. I got very frustrated by this in the game, but later on, I decided to look at the VOD because I was still really frustrated and I wanted to figure out what actually happened. So now let's rewind. In this game, I failed to realize that Kindred started my bot side, which is a major error on my part. There are multiple factors that I could have used to deduce that, but the most obvious one was that Kindred showed bot lane with 2 camps worth of CS, including my red buff. She didn't have a blue buff on her, which means she did my red and likely took my Krugs because that would path right into my bot lane. Me not paying attention to the minimap caused me to miss out on the opportunity to go for her topside camps and hit level 4 faster than her because she's spending time ganking bot lane. And that was just the first mistake I made. Then I proceeded to path towards bot lane, realized my camps were gone, go for a fight, it gets countered by Kindred, and I got really confused at why we lost the fight. In the review, I realized that the Blitzcrank had hooked a minion. So my thought was, oh, this fight would have worked if the Blitzcrank had Q, if I'd recognized the Blitzcrank had hooked. But that would be a terrible assessment of the game. If I were to just end the review by thinking that it's because Blitzcrank used his Q on a minion, and I should have recognized that and backed off, that's not really going to get me anywhere, because I missed out on the way more important thing earlier in the game. So whenever you're reviewing your games and you want to figure out if you were completely delusional when it comes to blaming your teammates, which you usually are, myself included, go back to the very beginning of the game and be extremely critical of each decision that you make. Did you have an alternative that could have been better? Were you missing out on information that you should have had? It's almost always going to be something that you can find that could have prevented or at least made your teammate's mistake not nearly as bad. If I had gone to the top side and hit level 4, the whole situation with Janna and Kindred being scary would not have been the case at all, because I wouldn't have been nearly as behind in XP. I would have had my items, been easily able to get out of the situation or take the fight if I wanted to. Not to mention, if I hadn't pathed bot, I wouldn't have given all of that gold and XP to the enemy team because of the fight that went poorly. It's alright to get mad in solo queue, happens to everybody, but just try your best to focus on the present in the game instead of getting mad at something that happened in the past, and remain as open-minded as you can. If you've done all of this reviewing and you genuinely believe you did not make significant mistakes and that it's on your teammates, get somebody else to review it. Maybe you're still a little bit too emotionally invested, somebody else that wasn't a part of the game coming with a fresh mindset, and they can probably figure out something that you could have worked on. Speaking of, I do free coaching for both top lane and jungle. If you're interested, my Discord link is in the description.